Hey mamas, let's jump right in. Today I'm going to share my top 5 mantras or mindset shifts that you can take into 2023. My name is Dina, coach, therapist, and semi-retired professional organizer. And today I want to share things I wish I would have known sooner and how they can help you recover more quickly after divorce, unpartnering of some sort, or a breakup. So let's get started and jump right in. Tip number 1, me first, kids second, and everybody else is third. Let me say that again. Me first, kids second, and everybody else is third. You are the CEO of your household as a single parent. Therefore, we need to think like one. Sometimes we have a desire for our children to have so much autonomy and them to be able to be independent and think for themselves. They can have input, but your wisdom and your age and everything else trumps all of their desires and all of that desire for autonomy as well, because you have to make decisions for everyone. Children, depending upon their age, they can't make certain decisions on their own, and they have very little power, and that ultimate power is exerted through you and the decisions that you make. So putting yourself first as the head of your household, kids second, and everything else works in tandem with you being able to be well, be healthy, and make good decisions for your household. Tip number 2. My income and growth are my top priorities as a single parent. Let me break this down a little bit. Obviously, your income changes for some people through unpartnering or divorce, right? And unpartnering can look like becoming a widow. It can look like a breakup. Whatever it looks like, sometimes our incomes are intertwined, or you're coming off of a situation where you may not have worked in the relationship and your partner was the person who brought in all the income. Now you're having to go back to work. And so when I say your income and growth, if you were a stay-at-home mom or someone who needs to make more money, temporarily, your growth is your priority so that you can go back to school, get an additional certification, get in a different mentorship program to move your career to the next level. But that's a priority for you to be completely able to sustain your household independent of any other outside support. The goal is for you to be able to sustain yourself regardless of if and when your potential child support can be coming in or other sources of income if you guys are sharing a kid. Some people don't get child support at all. Some people get a very low amount. Some people get a substantial amount. But idealistically, we want to try to get back our own financial independence after divorce or unpartnering, because what if something happens to that other person? So now your household is subject to whether or not that person's payment, child support, alimony is going to come in. And if they are unemployed, your life is dramatically impacted. So my income and my growth are my top priorities as a single parent. That has to do with the goal of financial independence. Okay. Step number 3. Support comes in many forms. This support can come in many forms inside and outside of the co-parenting relationship. You could have a wonderful, cohesive, supportive co-parenting relationship, or you could have a very, what I call, parallel parenting relationship where you guys do what you do at your house and I do what I do at my house. We are two ships that pass in the night. But understanding that support can come in many forms helps us to detach from the idea of 50-50. When we're going through the divorce process or the unpartnering progress or the loss process, sometimes because we're going through that child support, visitation, all those schedules, sometimes we get stuck on things being 50-50 and fair. which oftentimes they are not. If someone is not showing up to do their part in the relationship or in the co-parenting relationship, don't get stuck on trying to make that other person do what they may not have the capacity, ability, or willingness to do. The sooner we can get our heads around the idea that there are other forms of support and ways to support my parenting relationship in my household, the quicker we can move on from anger that could potentially lead us down the road of resentment. Empowering ourselves and giving ourselves what we need in the parenting relationship is important to get out of that mindset of things going to be 50-50. Sometimes they're not. When they're not, we can adjust more quickly by saying, okay, this is what the reality is. Even though my expectations that this person had do this at a different time and you agreed upon it and it's written on the documents and it's not happening, don't forget or don't hesitate to ask or hire help. This can come in the form of friends, family members, getting on an app like care.com, having a babysitter at your disposal when you need it to support yourself for the times that other co-parent or person in the partnering relationship are not doing. Take it upon yourself to not stop your life. Keep going in the direction that you need to go. Even if you need to work, even if you want to do social events, don't be ashamed to ask for help or hire help for the things that you need to run your household and make your life run smoother. Step number 4, my joy and my wellness is my priority. Our kids do what they see, not what we say. So if you want happy kids, if you want smart kids, if you want active kids, be happy, be active, be all the things because they do what they see and not what we say. My joy as a priority helps and gives my children permission to do the same for their own lives. When I set boundaries, they learn how to set boundaries. When I make good decisions with friendships, they make good decisions with friendships. Our impact is heavy, right? I'm not saying they're going to be our own clones, and I'm not saying that the teenage years won't be rough, but as a rule of thumb, my joy is a priority. And that looks like very many different things for many different people, right? And we are in control of setting ourselves up as a priority and making sure that that gets followed through. Step number 5, my most favorite one, of course, is I will prioritize an organized and efficient home, right? This goes back to number 3 in saying support comes in many forms. There's no bigger supporter than your household, right? An efficient home saves you money. The National Association of Productivity and Professional Organizers gives us the statistic that, we purchase things, Americans, of course, purchase things 6 times because we don't know where it is in the home. That light bulb just became pretty expensive over a year's time if you can't find your light bulbs, right? So it's not just about having a pretty, beautiful home, which is also a benefit, but it also diminishes stress. There's a study that says women with messier homes have higher cortisol levels. Cortisol is our stress response. So when visual clutter is a part of your life, that's what clutter is. We see it in that study. People or women walking into a home where there was more visual clutter had higher cortisol levels, which is our stress response hormone. So being organized, being efficient, knowing where the things are that you need to run your life, your biggest supporter is your household. How nurturing is your space? How organized is your space? Do I have to look for my keys every day when I can buy a 99-cent hook and put it by the front door to save myself that stress of looking for that thing that I do all the time? So think about it. Think about how your space can support you better. Think about how your space is contributing to your mood. Think about how your space can be more efficient in our meal preps, in the way we do our laundry, the way we do any type of cleaning. Our house can support us in very, very many ways if we let it. So let's recap. Tip number 1, me first, kids second, everybody else is third. Tip number 2, my income and growth are my top priorities. Tip number 3, support comes in many forms, inside and outside of the co-parenting relationship. Tip number 4, my joy is a priority. And tip number 5, I will prioritize an organized and efficient household. If you found this video to be helpful, or you have a mantra that you'd like to share with other moms, drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to share it with a friend, please do, and I thank you in advance. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, hit the subscribe button and make sure you come back once a week for a video on building resiliency for divorced or unpartnered moms. Thanks so much.